So now, okay, like, I mean, this man does not need an introduction. Everybody from Ethereum community knows him. If there is any newbies, this man is a cryptographer and a musician in one, pretty unusual. And what a way to conclude this beautiful event, the first ever in Spain and the best looking in the world Ethereum conference, if not with this performance. Enjoy, everyone, and thank you for attending and being on your best behavior. Bye.
Bienvenido! Woo! Chain more than the tree. I pedal toward the sun to make peace with someone and plant lilacs on the morning of the bank run. Way down ahead, time runs us in a run time when we love each other's thread. Let what will just be. The blocks that are ahead generate all of history. A caress across the chains, I sent one lover grains through consensus tubes of secrets and chicanes. A zero knowledge proof is for thundering hooves through a storm of scams of talking heads and bloodstained pillared roofs. Way down ahead, time runs us in a run time when we love each other's thread. Let what will just be. The blocks that are ahead generate all of history. Well, I've been through a fiasco with my hat held in my hand. Can't get a man to know a thing he's paid not to understand. And the thief needn't steal when he mints copper-cladded zinc. And we will only heal when we begin to stop and think. let what will just be. The blocks that are ahead generate all of history.
¿Cómo está? ¿Todo bien? Hey! How we doing? It's a song of endless possibilities. Si quiere cantar conmigo, you wanna sing with me, come along. Let's do it. Todo es posible, todo es posible, todo es posible. Todo es posible, todo es posible, todo es posible. Every day's a day alive. Every day's a day alive. Every day's a day alive. It's a day in paradise. It's a day in paradise. Todo es posible. 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 Todos los días. Todos los días son días de luz, son días de luz. Hoy es un día, hoy es un día en el paraíso. ¡Vamos, Barcelona! Todo es posible. Cantar, todo es posible. Todo es posible. And gracias, Justin, for making sure that this was all possible. I really appreciate you, brother. Thanks for inviting us. And just to know how things can be possible if you manifest and want it to happen, we didn't have a fiddle player about 3 days ago, and Justin was walking around on the street, and we met David, un loco here in Barcelona, and we got him playing the fiddle. And yesterday was our first day as a band, and y'all can join the jam. It's kind of like a decentralized family. So hey fam, let's go. There's a couple of ukuleles if you want to go. Woo. Es la promesa de Dios. And whatever dream you got in your soul, that's possible. So keep building, keep dreaming. Come on, ETH community. Let's build the future. Todo es posible. Todo es posible. Todo es posible. Todo es posible, todo es posible, todo es posible. Gracias.
Millennial Fair? Ready? This is a song from a game called Chrono Trigger. It speaks of things that are 1,000 years apart, which seems strangely relevant when we're talking about like bigger picture blockchain stuff. I wonder if we can think about what of our legacy will be around in 1,000 years. Everybody's been like at conferences all day, right? Let's stand up and stretch. Come on, let's get you all alive. Come here. There we go. Look at this.
Come closer.
Yeah, come on. Look, there's like the back rows are full and the front rows are not. Like, come on up here.
This is definitely
Come
a
on.
sway with your
There's
friends
plenty of
kind
room.
of song.
Come on up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I've gotten a lot of mileage out of this joke, but I'll tell it anyway. I say, that's what I could have said. Anya asked me a secret about my music. I like to say that there will come a time when I grow up and I write songs about whiskey and women in trains, which, like, if you're from the American South, is supposed to be your main subject matter. But right now, I'm still in my mathematics and surveillance and cryptography phase. Talked to my Mando guy last Friday. Sent him a message in the clear. I asked him to fly to Barcelona. We hoped a violin might appear. And sure enough, that message, that plain text upon the wire, made its way to a fiddler with a 3-letter qualifier. She said, I'm the nanny state fiddler. I fiddle with your data every day. A nanny state fiddler plays the violin this way. Oh, and much to my amazement, she showed up on my porch. She wore a suit and had dark shades, and her instrument had been torched. She had learned just about all my songs from a warrantless wiretap, but she played them all like I'd never seen, with a brushstroke and a slap. She said, I'm the nanny state fiddler. I fiddle with your data every night. A nanny state fiddler replays your darkness in her light. Saved me from myself when I'd almost wronged the man. She knew me better than my mom and dad. Maybe that was the plan. She said, let me fiddle with your life, new friend. I'll be your backbeat. And if you ever need a listening ear, I'll be eavesdropping from my seat. I'm the nanny state fiddler. I fiddle with your data when I can. It makes me lonesome when I read your math, 'cause it messes with my plan. A nanny state fiddler. I fiddle with your data every day. A nanny state fiddler plays the violin this way. said I'm a nanny state fiddler. I fiddle with your data every night. A nanny state fiddler replays your darkness in her light.
Eso.
On the fiddle are Fiddleista, David Flores, de Barcelona, España. I think a lot of you know this one. I'm going to sing a couple for you by myself now, I think. This one is a story about this thing that happened a couple 100,000 years ago when me and a few of my friends discovered that there was this scale that you could modulate and encode semantic values to each note, and we called these notes vowel sounds, and they sound like A, E, I, O, U, you know, these sounds, they're in every language. But it turns out if you kind of scream them from the stomach and only let a certain, the middle of the air through in a sense, you get this overtone series. And so when we're talking to each other every day, the reason that if I say the word sneak, you don't hear the word snake is because you've gotten so accustomed to hearing me sing these different overtones, E-A, E-A. And that's the basis of essentially all of human communication to date. I mean, now we vibrate much more quickly, you know, typically like 5 gigahertz now. But this is kind of one of the most uniquely human sensibilities is the discovery that with vibrations we can encode complex semantic ideas that we might win compassion and empathy and do good for the world. And we make a similar vibration with pieces of wood on occasion. This is an instrument from a little-known city called Rapid City in South Dakota. This is kind of something that these days a lot of Lakota people make, and there are a lot of Lakota people and other indigenous people in Rapid City, and I'm not sure how it is. You know, it's a very different calculus, I know, in España, but in the United States sometimes we get, we have the idea that indigenous people are a historical phenomenon, but actually they're, you know, living and playing video games and smoking weed like the rest of us and making cool instruments, but they're, you know, much higher rate of victimization in police brutality. But, you know, I think it's important to show off these instruments. You're already good friends with David. Let me introduce, keeping our low end happy, Shaka le Kaumaka on the bass.
Hola. Aloha!
And the Ethereum Foundation DevOps team's own Jakub Vysoky on the mandolin.
Ahoy. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Justin.
I didn't realize we were so low on time. We were almost out of time. There'll be plenty more shows to come. We are not yet booked for ETH. So if you're throwing a side event there, you'd like a band for it, talk to us. It's very flattering when I start talking about the future and everyone's yelling out the events they're organizing. That's like, I mean, some of you in the audience have seen me like 4 or 5 times now. This is like, I must be doing something right if you keep coming back. All right, ready? Fortune teller both left their post at hell or high water, 'cause neither of them were who they'd set out to be. You can lie about the mail, you can lie about the money, but a little bit of math will always find the funny business. Trust comes from the earth like the banyan tree. That coming wave. The water is dear if we want to live, and the fire in our hearts is ours to give. The earth makes nodes out of some of its stone, and they carry good news through the air back home. To talk with my right ring finger and fly back home with my left wing lingering, never knowing who will walk through my front door. With a cup and a string, I can say anything to a shadow band trap like a mouse with a spring, and that's how we arrive at our credit score. That coming wave. The water is dear if we want to live, and the fire in our hearts is ours to give. The earth makes nodes out of some of its stone, and they carry good news through the air back home. if we want to live, and the fire in our hearts is ours to give. The earth makes nodes out of some of its stone, and they carry good news through the air back home. Policeman and a fortune teller both left their post at hell or high water, 'cause neither of them were who they had set out to be. You can lie about the mail, you can lie about the money, but a little bit of math will always find the funny business. Trust comes from the earth like the banyan tree. All right, thank you very much. My name is Justin. I'm from Threshold Network, and we will see you on down the trail. Be well. No backdoors in crypto. That took me a minute. It's funny you should mention that, because I've been thinking to myself lately, what is it that stands in contrast to threshold cryptography? This is the kind of thing that you think about when you start working on threshold cryptography. Keep going. And at first I thought the answer was validator cryptography, like the thing we're most used to. Because in validator cryptography, you have one node executing the operation and some other number of nodes validating it, right? Whereas in threshold cryptography, you have some number of nodes executing the operation and also some number of nodes validating it, but the number executing it is typically not one. But it's still kind of validator cryptography, right? And then it occurred to me, really what it is enclave cryptography that stands in contrast to threshold cryptography. And we've gotten used to this word, enclave, secure enclave cryptography. Is anyone here work at Intel? No. If you work on SGX, you're probably very cool. I mean, a lot of cool people work on bad things. But, you know, so we think of, you know, the backdoor comment made me think of this, right? So obviously, running, we ought to call probably secure enclaves, we could rebrand to like authoritarian enclaves, right? That's already a word in political science, but it kind of makes sense, right? There's this authority that executes an attestation that you could audit if you had like the world's perfect microscope to look inside your CPU, and we're told that this type of cryptography is useful. But obviously, it's also useful as a backdoor. So I think one of the questions going forward is, what things belong in enclaves, like personal enclaves, not Intel SGX, but just, you know, like your wallet is an enclave in a sense. And what things would you rather entrust to a threshold of nodes out there? And as we look around our everyday life, I think we see thresholds and enclaves. We see collaborative unions standing in contrast to predatory corporations. Now, not all enclaves are bad. I mean, the sovereign enclave of the individual has great value, great worth. I'm not saying that enclave cryptography is bad. I'm saying that its place in the world is limited, and that we haven't really thought that hard about what things are best done in a different way. We're, of course, working on Threshold BTC version 2, which is, just... The thing that fails to excite me about it, sure, it's exciting insofar as that it will be a trust-minimized wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, great. But what doesn't excite me is that it's still money, you know? And I think a lot of times at blockchain conferences, you have trouble with like some people just like the idea of money, and some people don't. I kind of don't. Like, when we think about You like that better? I noticed I switched to a minor key and suddenly people are dancing. So we think about the threshold, the sustainability thing. So there's two obviously separable discussions to be had about blockchain sustainability. One regards the carbon emissions resulting from the consensus mechanism. Obviously, we talk about that one all the time. That one's a mainstream idea, right? That one is in the Wall Street Journal and shit, right? But the other sort of deeper one is the effect that monetizing every asset in the universe on a common scale has on the environment. I'm not sure that was ever a great idea. It probably needed to be done when you had to like mine for gold as the only sort of common thing of value. But hopefully, I would imagine the information, like what if we had a threshold ECDSA mechanism that didn't have to be money, but it could actually search your community for agreements that you find palatable and make them on your behalf or on your family's behalf, your community's behalf, your clan's behalf, you know. And then I saw a hat here. I don't think the person wearing it's in the room, but somebody had a hat that said, "We'll trade racists for refugees." And I was like, yeah, that's a good trade. And it occurred to me, trade, that's what we're all about, right? We're rewriting the language of trade. So could you somehow build a bridge from racism to, refugee acceptance? Like, could we imagine in 1,000 years that we have realigned the, hopefully it only takes 50 years, right? But could we imagine realigning the incentive structure by writing a bridge that takes racism in at one end and outputs acceptance of refugees at the other somehow? I mean, that's super abstract, but it just occurred to me when I'm sort of pushing the boundaries of thinking about like what you could do with a threshold signature that's more interesting than money. Oh no, we're minor key now, right?
Possible!